Today we're going to look at pipeline actuals versus forecast using deal data from Salesforce. You can sync your data from Salesforce using the Coefficient add-on. If you do not have it, go to add-ons, get add-ons, and then search for Coefficient in the add-on store. Once you have it download, you can connect to Salesforce and then sync your data. So we have our deal data in here, and then we're going to populate these two metrics, and then we're going to build out a quick dashboard. So projected revenue, we're simply going to use our probability times our amount. And so we can simply take those cells times each other, let that autofill. And then for this month, we want to just take the first of the month for each month to make it easy to pivot this data. So we're just going to do a date, and then we're going to grab the year from this date, grab the month from this date, and then 1 for our final parameter. And so what this date formula does is it takes a year, month, and a day. And so we fed it the year, the month, and then manually the first of that month. So we'll let this autofill. And now we can go over to our actuals versus performance and build out our quick dashboard. So we have this broken up by industry. And so for our actuals, we'll go ahead and use a sum ifs formula. And then what we're going to need here is our amount. And then we can grab our month and then make this equal to, I have a date object here. Then we can grab our industry, and this will be our industry here. And then finally, we want to make sure it's only the one deals. And so we're going to make this close one. We can go ahead and close this. And then we need to make sure we have these set up correctly so we can copy this across. So first of all, I'm going to hit F4 and lock these so these don't move. We want these to remain the same columns. And then this D8 is our date object. And so we want this to go down. We only want to go across. So I'm only going to add the $ before the 8. And then on this construction, we do want it to remain in the same column, but not the same row. And so now if you look at this, if I drag this down, I'm going to actually just copy and then paste this as a formula. That way it doesn't mess up our nice formatting. And now you can see as we go down, this one is changing. This one is not changed yet. So what we can do now is we can copy this, and then we can paste our formulas here and paste our formulas here. Now you can see that our date one has changed. So for our Q1 total, we can just do a quick, easy formula. We can just add these together, and then we can drag this down. And then finally for our forecast, we can go ahead and copy this formula, add it here. And then one thing we do not need is this closed one, but we also need to change our column for our totals because we don't want the amount, we want the projected amount. So that's going to be I. And so instead of this D here, we're going to use I. Then again, we can drag this down, and then we can copy this and then paste again our formula. And then we can take these, select this, and drag this over to get our totals there. Looks like we got D1 instead of D10. Check this, E1 instead of E10. Drag these down, make sure we have the right ones in here. So 11, 11, 11. You can see them highlighting here as we tab into the formula. It's a quick and easy way to check to make sure you have the right values. All right, so finally, we want to do a quick comparison here. So there's a couple different ways you could do this. You could do a chart. One thing we're going to do here instead is a spark line, which is a kind of chart, but it's in the cell. And so let's just go ahead and start building this. So we're just going to do spark line, and then we can grab these cells, and then we can put together a quick chart type. We'll do bar, and then for our max value, we'll pick our forecast. And then we're going to pick some colors here. So let's do color 1. So this will be the first color. Let's do this value down here. So we're going to do 3CB 371. And then finally, let's make sure we get this set up correctly. So this is supposed to be commas and then semicolons between each one. Color 2. And then let's get this final one. So let's do this FA8072. It's kind of red to show that we're under. Let's go ahead and close this out now. And you can see we have this nice spark line. So if we drag this down, the issue is when we're over, then it's not showing anything different. So we want to use this other color to highlight difference. So we're going to have to modify this a little bit for that other condition. And so what we're going to do is if E10 is greater than D10, then we'll do this spark line. Except for what we want to do here is instead of adding these together, we actually want to show the difference. So let's do E10 minus D10. And then let's just go ahead and copy this spark line and we'll reuse it, but we'll modify it here in a second. So that one looks better now. We have 67 here represented by this green and then the difference in that red. So we can see we're a little shy of our forecast. So now we need to modify for when we flip this around. So this one we want to flip around and show forecast as green and then the rest in blue to show our overage. So we're going to want to flip these around then. So we're going to want this one to be E11 and then this will be D11 minus E11. And then we'll change our max one will be D. And now you can see we need to change our color as well. And so let's grab this color and swap this color around. You can kind of barely see it there. We drag this down maybe. This one has a little more. We go another one. That one has a little more. So let's go ahead and drag this back up to fix this one. And then we can go ahead. Let's just go ahead and copy this formula so we don't break our formatting. Formula only. And there we go. So let's go ahead and copy this over. And now you can see that overall our finance was a little under. It was a little over in January and then a little under in February and March. So our overall was a little under. All right, that's how to quickly take your Salesforce deal data and quickly make a actuals versus forecast breakdown by industry. You can do this with your own project. There'll be a link to this dashboard in the video description. And make sure you download Coefficient today so you can use Coefficient to stay up to date on all your business financials.